Hi everybody, and welcome to Squirrel Pie Productions, my podcast about knitting, spinning, and sewing. My name is Tommi, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Dynamite Trujillo. Welcome to episode 29 of my podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to any new viewers, and a big welcome back to any returning viewers. I appreciate you and your time so much, and I'm really happy you're here with me today. Today is a really nice, bright, sunny Friday in July here on the Northern California coast where I'm coming to you from. And we have a Ravelry group for this podcast, which you should totally go join if you want to. It's where you'll find show notes for this episode and all previous episodes. It's also where you'll find stuff about giveaways and knit-alongs and a bunch of other fun stuff. So check it out. We do have a knit-along that is running right now in the Ravelry group. It is the Brioche knit-along, and it is running from now until early August. So check out the Ravelry group for information on that. There's a chatter thread and an FO thread, and you guys are knitting such awesome brioche stuff. Seriously, freaking seriously beautiful stuff in those threads. I am so excited about what you guys are making. So this is a knit along where you can knit brioche along with me and all of us in the group. Hashtag on Instagram is briochealong2017, and there are some beautiful, wonderful, lovely prizes to be won. So check that out. I'm really happy to be back this week recording. It is so much fun. I'm really excited about recording this and editing it. I find all of that to be super duper fun. So I skipped last week. It is summer and it's really beautiful outside here. And last weekend I jam-packed my weekend so full of fun things that I decided to play hooky on the podcast. So it's been a couple weeks since I've seen you guys, and I am stoked to be back. I can't wait. This is going to be so much fun. So without further ado, what I'm wearing this week is my Belcarra blouse, which is a Sewaholic pattern. I have the pattern envelope right here to show you because I'm super prepared. That is the sewing pattern that I used to make this top, and I really highly recommend the sewing pattern. I love it. It's super easy. It's a top with these raglan sleeves, and it's really easy to construct. I love this top. I wear it a lot. It's one of my most worn hand-sewn items. Even though it doesn't fit, this is the only version of this top that I have made, and I sewed the second to the smallest size, which is too big. I should have sewn the smallest size. I really want to sew it again in the correct size. I think it'll fit a lot better. This one is definitely too big. While the neckline is lying really nicely and cooperatively right now, it generally does not. As I move around and wear it during the day, it shifts from side to side. It opens up a lot. It's also much too wide. I jankily went through after the fact and put in a big, stupidly placed, like, dart, I think it's called, right in the middle of the back to bring it in. I just, like, made it up and did it one day before work when I put the shirt on for work, and I was like, this is too wide. So I just went in and, like, sewed some of it. It's, like, super janky. But I like this top so much that even though it doesn't fit that well, I still wear it a lot. So, I need to make another one of these someday, and I highly recommend the pattern because it's, like I said, super easy and really nice to wear. It's made for non-stretch fabric, which is I don't want to say rare for me, but kind of rare for me. I'm really into sewing with stretch fabrics, so this is one of my few hand-sewn items that does not have jersey material in it. And I love this print so much. It's this really beautiful, loud, full of jewel tone kind of print with these, like, looks like paper cut, like, flowers and bird. There's bird right here. Oh no, that's not a bird. That's a flower. There's birds on it somewhere. I love this fabric though. I have a teeny bit of it left over. I wish I had more, enough to make another one in my size. But, I don't know. Maybe I'll get more someday. But anyway, this is the Belcarra blouse. And I really, truly recommend this pattern. Because it's awesome. I love it. Okay. Moving right along. 2 FOs. I know how to do this. I'm so, like, right back in the game. I have 1 FO this week. I finally finished my baby hat. So here it is. This is the Color Dipped Hat, which is a pattern by Purl Soho. And I made this for my mother's boyfriend's grandchild, who was pretty recently born. It's a baby. I don't know how old it is. He's under 1 year old, I know that. So this is a gift for them. My mother commissioned me to make this hat for him. And I am super excited that it's done. It's fingering weight yarn. It is my hand-dyed yarn. This blue greenish color here is my merino fingering base in the Come On Over colorway. And then this gray at the bottom is, I think, a cascade fingering. It was some scraps I had lying around without a tag. And it wasn't the funnest knit in the world. It's, like I said, the Color Dipped Hat by Purl Soho. It is a fisherman's rib pattern. It looks very much like brioche, but it is not. Brioche is super fun, and I found fisherman's rib to be not that fun. But I got through it. I made a size in between the 2 smallest sizes. So the smallest size is like the baby size, and the next smallest size is the toddler size, I think. Toddler-like / child, I think. And I had my doubts about the size of it as I got farther into the pattern. I kind of felt like it was going to be too big for a baby. And I don't really know. I mean, it looks like it's fine. I think it'll be fine. It stretches a lot, so it can be super big. But I feel like it's like a 1x1 rib, so I think it'll fit fine. Slouchy baby hat. Super cool baby. Yeah. And he'll grow into it. So I'm going to send this off in the mail today and get it to them. And I am stoked that it's finished. I knit this on size 2 needles, and it's reversible. Check it out. You can wear it this way too. Haha. Yes. So I'm happy that I'm done with this. I'm really, really happy. I have got a lot of yarn left over. This is the rest of the cake. And I am going to be mailing this to my mother along with the hat because she purchased this yarn from me in my very first shop update and had me made that hat with it. So I'm going to send her the hat along with the leftovers. And my mom, while she's not a knitter, she's vaguely a crocheter. She tries occasionally to crochet. And she has done some. She's made some like crochet blankets in the past. She has pretty recently gotten into what I think is called, it's not rug hooking. It's, oh, I forgot what it's called. I bought her this kit for her birthday last year. And it's with a little hook thing, and you use, I'm so blanking on like everything. Anyway, it's this like rug making craft. I'm gonna put all the information here, and I'll link to stuff in the show notes. But my mom dabbles in that craft. So I'm gonna send her the rest of this, and maybe she'll make something cool with it. So that was my FO. So happy that's done. I'm so stoked. I'm totally gonna like be able to move on to a bunch of other fun stuff now. And I have. On to whips. Man, I'm out of practice, you guys. So my first whip is some socks. It has been a while since I've worked on socks. I feel like I've been out of my sock game this summer. But living in my Cats with Antlers project bag, I have got my floating socks. And these are socks I've had on the needles for quite a while. last time I showed them to you, I had the first one done. And I am using my hand-dyed yarn again, which is Moonstone Dyeworks, in the floating colorway, and this is the Stellina sock base. It's fingering weight yarn, and it's one of my favorite colorways. I used that same gray that I used in the color dipped hat for the heel flap and heel turn, which is my favorite way to do contrasting heel. The heel flap and gusset, which is what this is my favorite heel of all time. So this is the first one that I've done. It is 56 stitches, knit from the top down with a 2x2 rib, and my favorite, rounded toe with the Kitchener finish at the end. Second one, I have got this far on, and I'm knitting these magic loop on a size 1 needle. I did the cuff on a size 0. I have got the leg done and the heel flap done. So I just need to do the heel turn, the gusset, and be on my way with these. I knit on this a lot these past couple weeks. I pretty much did, I did this much. Because this was my movie and river knitting. I went to see a movie and I went to the river a couple times these past 2 weeks, and this is what I brought with me to work on for all that stuff because it's awesome mindless stockinette and it's perfect. I went to the movie theater to see the film Baby Driver last weekend and was totally enamored. I freaking loved that movie. Baby Driver is a film that's out in the theaters right now, I think. And I didn't see any previews or anything for it. I just went and saw it. And so I'm not sure what it seems like from the previews, but to me at first it seemed like an action kind of heist movie, like with car chases and stuff. And I can enjoy those movies, but they're not my favorite kind of movies. But that's not really what it was. It was that, but I feel like that plot sort of was a catalyst for something more that the movie was. And it's very heavily based in music. The soundtrack for the movie is very integrated into the movie itself, which is something that really moves me in music. In movies is the music, and when the music is integrated so deeply into the plot, I really like that. And the music was really good. Like, really good. Anyway, sidetracked. Baby Driver is an amazingly good movie. If it seems like something that interests you, you should definitely watch it. If you're into music in a really weird, deep way, like music is like one of your things, you should watch it. Because even if you don't like the music that's in it, it's just cool. It's just freaking cool. It's a cool movie. And I knit on this while I watched that movie. And I also went to the river a couple times, which was super fun. And this is what I brought. So this has got like beer and sand and river water all in it. So this is what I have left of my main color. And this is my floating colorway, Moonstone Dyeworks, and I love it. This is what I have left of the gray, which, like I said, is some kind of cascade fingering. I feel like it might be the silk wool one, but it could be the wool nylon one. I'm not really sure. And I am super stoked that these are coming along. It's really nice to be getting back to socks. I've got 2 socks on the needles right now. These ones and the Towness socks. And I have got to get back to the Towness socks because I really, really, really want to start wearing those. I'm pretty far along on those, but I'll work on those more this week. These I feel like I could get done pretty dang quickly if I just keep working on them. So that's my first whip. My socks, and I love them. My next work in progress is my Nyanen top. And this is a linen top pattern by Cecily, Glowik, MacDonald. Here is what it looks like. And this yarn is 100% linen. It's Shibui linen yarn in the colorway Fjord. And I showed this a couple weeks ago as an UFO that I had picked up and started working on again. I ripped a bunch of this out to fix a mistake that I had originally made, and then another mistake that I newly made, and started working on it again. And last time I showed you, I was still working in the round. I'd gotten up to the point where I was pretty much ready to split for the armholes, and I knit a little farther to make it a little longer and then split. And I have picked up I think this is the back, I can't remember. But I am working now back and forth instead of in the round. Here's where I split. So I've got this blue yarn here as my stitch holder guy. And I've only gotten maybe 1 inch on the back. So I have about 6-7 more inches to go before I pick up and knit the other side, which will be the front. And then I will do a 3 needle bind off, I think, for the shoulders. And then I'm not positive, I still have to read farther in the pattern, but I think after that I'm done. I don't think there's really any finishing to the neckline or the sleeves. I think it's just left kind of raw, I guess. So maybe I could be totally wrong. I'm probably just making that up. But anyway, I did a little more work on this, and this is an all over lace pattern, and it's really, really pretty. It's a really fun and easy all over lace pattern. I feel like for me, sometimes all over lace patterns can get kind of old, and maybe that's why I put this down originally in the first place. I started it a couple years ago, but the lace pattern now, maybe I'm just more experienced with lace, but I feel like it's kind of a breeze now. So I feel like if I just focus on this, I could get it done really, really quickly. And yeah, I really like it. I can't wait till it's done. I can't wait to wear it. I am knitting this on a size 3 needle. These are my high sharps. And we're moving along. I am all confident again with this pattern. I just have to knit on it and get it done. When I first picked it up again, I was nervous because I knew I had messed up originally. And the way I messed up was that I split for the sleeves too soon, which would make the body much too short. And I am kind of sensitive about that. I don't really like shorter tops. I like longer tops. I love a tunic, and if it's not a tunic, I like it to fall past my waist. I don't really like tops that stop at my waist. I like them to go a little farther down my hips. So I was just kind of halted because I knew I messed up and I knew I'd need to fix it, and I didn't know how, blah, blah, blah. But now that I've ripped back and I've gotten to a point where I feel confident in where I split for the sleeves, I'm stoked about this. I think it's going to be really, really nice once I get going on it a little more. I started a long time ago with 3 skeins of this Shibui linen yarn. This is the last of the second skein that I'm working from now. And this is a chain plied yarn. You might be able to see that. And then this is the third one that I have not broken into yet, but I do have all caked up. And it's living in my little handmade shopping bag from my local fabric store. So, yes. My last whip that I have been pretty dang solely focused on these past couple weeks is my Oracle shawl. And this is living in my Ghastly's project bag that I made. It's got my little unicorn on it. And this is a test knit for Kristin of Wool and Vine Yarns and the Yarn Guzzin podcast. This is a design that she has got coming out pretty soon, and I am one of her test knitters, and I love it so much. I am so close to being done with this thing. I'm so excited. I have been working on it a lot. It's so addicting, and I just like want to work on it all the time. So I have been, and I'm pretty far. Like I said, I'm almost done. And okay, let me just show you. This is what it looks like right now. It's a blob. It's a huge blob. It's a lot of yarn. This thing is enormous. It's a 3 skein pie shawl, and she says that it takes up like a lot of the yarn, a lot of all 3 skeins, and she's super right. This is huge, and I love it so much because I love a huge shawl. So let me tell you a little bit about it. It is a pie shawl. You start at the middle, and that's my color A. You've got some lace sections alternated with these brioche sections, which of course I love madly. Alternated with more lace, more brioche, and right now, don't slip off the needle, I'm on my last lace section. So this is the very last lace section. After this is an I-cord bind off, and then I'm done. There is over 1,000 stitches on the needle right now. So each round takes a long ass time, but it's okay because I love it. That's just how it is. I love it, and it's okay that it's taking a long time because I love it. These are the yarns I'm using. This is all Woolen Vine yarns in her Nouveau base. This is all that I have left. This was my color A, and this is the Fig Bash colorway. My color B, and this one I'm done with, I think. So that's all I have left of that. Fig Bash was A. This is color B, and this is Prickly Pear. And this color is just amazing. I believe this is what the I-cord bind off is going to be in. And then this is color C, and this is what I'm working on for the last lace section. This is all I have left. And I really like how I'm using up most of the yarn. That is like a sweet spot for me when I use up like most of the yarn. So one thing I love about this shawl, as I'm knitting it, I notice these details that I just like really appreciate. So I really enjoy how in this shawl you get a lace section in every colorway. I love that. So we've got this big lace section down here in the Prickly Pear colorway. That's your color B. And then here you've got a lace section in Fig Bash, which is your color A. And then it ends on the lace section in color C, which, oh, for me, it's Last Unicorn. That's Last Unicorn, which is also a Woolen Vine colorway. And I really like that. I really like that you get to do each of your colorways in its own lace section. I feel like that's a really nice way of showcasing each colorway, because you've got these 2 color brioche sections, which are beautiful, and pairing colorways in brioche is really amazing. It's a really great way to show off hand-dyed yarns, but also just being able to show them off by themselves like this. I love it. I love that you get 1 lace section in each colorway. I think it's so cool. So I did have a little snafu with my shawl, which is the whole point of being a test knitter. So I knit, I think I would be done with this by now. Maybe at least like on the I-card bind off. But I ripped back a lot, which was actually a really good experience. I had gotten to this last brioche section and gotten most of the way through it and then had to rip back because something came up in the pattern and I had to redo that section differently. So I was really nervous about ripping back brioche because I can fix some mistakes in brioche, but I had never tried to rip all the way back before. And the way this shawl is, so you've got this lace section here and then this brioche section, and there's one row of just knit stitches between those two sections. So I knew I had to rip out all of the brioche and start over. And I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? I thought about it because I knew I didn't want... Okay, so I couldn't pick back up in the brioche. I had to rip all the brioche out. And I knew I had that one row of knit stitches, so I wanted to make sure that I stopped my ripping out right at that row so that I didn't have to go back and pick up lace stitches, because that's hard. But picking up just knit stitches is not that hard, right? So I was kind of nervous. I was like, I have to be able to rip this back in a way to where I don't get past that one row of knit stitches. And so I just took the needles out, and that was so nerve-wracking. And I did this was so dumb actually. I did it like in a tizzy, like at 9 o'clock at night, watching TV on my bed with my husband like watching TV next to me. So I put the thing on my bed in front of me and I just yanked the needles out. It was like, it was really exhilarating and frightening. It was terrifying. Ripping my needles out of this like 1,000 stitch pie shawl that I'm almost done with lace like right there, just waiting to like have all the stitches fall out. So I had 1,000 live stitches and I ripped it all back and I just like laid it down on my bed. And what I did is I ripped back in the 2-color brioche, one row at a time with each color. And I just was really careful about knowing when I was going to get to that row of knit stitches, because I wanted to stop before I got there and pick up all those knit stitches like super carefully. And it took a while, but I was like super proud of myself. I've never really done that kind of ultra planned ripping back before, and I did it well, if I say so. I was like super proud of myself. And this is what I did. This is kind of a technique that I've always done, and it like really saved me in ripping this out, is when you rip something back, what I generally do is rip back to the row around before where I pick my stitches up, so that I can just rip, right? Like all the rows that I need to rip out. And then once I get to my last rip, instead of just picking up all those live stitches and like having the tension of my needle picking up stitches, like ripping, like having stitches ladder down, I pick up the stitches in the row down from what's live, if that makes sense. So that way I'm picking up a stitch and pulling out the yarn from that stitch, and then picking up the next stitch and pulling out the yarn from that stitch. I don't know if that's making any sense, but it's a really good, I hope it's making sense, because it's like the best way to rip back and then pick up your stitches, so that you're not picking up the live stitches and trying to keep up with them dropping. You're intentionally dropping each one onto your needle as you go. So that's how I did it. And it worked like a freaking charm. I was ripping back to like the point where I have 500 stitches on the needle, and I did it so well. I was very proud of myself. And I felt like I gained a skill. So stoked. So anyway, that was exciting. It was like I was in my own action movie. It was like really exhilarating. Not action, thriller movie. I'm so lame. I'm such a dork. Anyway, so that happened. That was exciting. And I got to knit the whole brioche section over again. And if I'm going to re-knit any section, it's going to be brioche, and I'm going to be fine with it. I'm going to be like totally fine with it, because I love knitting brioche. Anyway, that was a long story. But the takeaway that I want you to have from that story is that if you have to rip something back, don't panic. It's going to be fine. Just rip back with abandon and stop the row before. and you're good. Okay. So, I reknit the brioche section, which was super fun because I love brioche, and now I'm on to the last lace section. And I'm like super towards the end of the last lace section, and really, really, really soon I get to do the I-cord bind off, which takes a long time, and some people think it's a tedious technique, but it's really fun. I really like it. So I'm excited to do that. I think that's going to be in prickly pear, but I'm not sure. I didn't read ahead. We'll see. I'm super stoked about getting this thing done because it's going to be enormous and beautiful, and I love it so much. So this is the Oracle Shawl pattern by Kristin of Vine and Yarngasm, and I believe she has the date set for the release of this pattern in early August, which is coming up soon, and I can't wait for you guys to knit this. If you're planning on knitting it, I'm so excited for you because it's so much fun. Look at that. I love it. So that's what I've been working on most these past couple weeks. And this is a single ply yarn, by the way. Highly recommend doing this in a single ply yarn. So fun. It's so squishy. So that's the saga of my Oracle Shawl. I can't wait to block it. It's going to be so big. I love big shawls so much. Okay. And that's all that I've been knitting. I have been doing some sewing. I finished my second pattern in my Project Love at First Stitch sewing project. So I have this book, Love at First Stitch, which is the Tilly and the Buttons book, and I got the idea to sew my way through this whole book, and I sewed the pajama pants a few weeks ago, and now I have sewn the next project in the book, which is the Delphine skirt, which is the cover skirt. And I'm super stoked on it. I love how it came out. I'm really excited about this project, about sewing my way through that whole book. I think it's pretty cool. So here it is. This is my Delphine skirt. It is a ghastly skirt. It's my Halloween skirt, but I'm wearing it now because I'm cool. And I'm so happy with how it came out. I love it. It fits really well. I put some pictures up of me wearing it on Instagram. I will put a photo in here so that you can see what it looks like on. But it fits great. It fits really, really well. And I did this with 1 yard of fabric, which I was super proud of. I did do a little fabric management right here, and you can like seriously hardly see it. I showed in detail a couple episodes ago what I did to manipulate my fabric because I didn't quite have enough. So I kind of pieced a little bit of it together in weird ways. And this is how that came out. So see this little seam right there? The little extra seam? That is where I pieced an extra piece of fabric together so that my piece would be whole. And I've got another one on this side too. And I mean, it's so tiny now. You can like not tell it's there at all. So I'm super happy with how that came out. And it fits really great. I mentioned in the last episode that I talked about this skirt that when I cut it out, I cut out the smallest size, and I feel like I was probably between the smallest and the second smallest size for the waist. And so I adjusted my seam allowance and just gave myself less of a seam allowance than called for. Gave me a little extra room up here, and it fits perfectly. I love it a lot. There are a lot of janky little touches to this skirt, which in my style is just how it is. I'm not a perfectionist with anything. and it really comes out in my sewing. Knitting, I'm more of an experienced knitter, so you know, I'm not a perfectionist and like I let mistakes go, but they don't happen that often to where you can really tell. Sewing though, I'm still practicing, and a lot of my sewing mistakes that I just let slide are like all over the place. So I'm overall super happy with how it came out, and that is really to me all that matters. But there's a lot of little fun things in here, including like I tried to stitch in the ditch on this part right here where the waistband meets the skirt itself, which is a technique where you stitch right in the seam or whatever that is, where the one fabric meets the other fabric and whatever. So, so that you can't see the stitches, and the idea is to catch the fabric that's been folded over in the back so that you're tacking that down, but not able to see it on the front. And I've done that successfully before, but this time I did not do it successfully. I stitched in the ditch the whole way around, and I missed a bunch of areas in the back, so a lot of it wasn't secured. So instead of trying to do the whole thing over again, I just added an extra line of stitches right there. And so now it's got that, which is fine. And kind of the same thing happened on the hem. If you'll see, the hem is like double stitched. That was not intentional. It happened because I did my one row of stitches and I did not catch a lot of the hem which was folded underneath, so I just did another row. And it's fine. It's great. It works out good. Probably the thing that bothers me at all about one of my janky errors in the skirt is the invisible zipper. So invisible zippers are pretty easy to put in, I think. But I think I have a sucky invisible zipper foot for my sewing machine. It's just something I found off Amazon. A long time ago when I was looking for invisible zipper feet, I felt like they were maybe hard to find, or for me, hard to figure out which one would go with my machine. So I bought a random one on Amazon, and I don't know if I'm using it wrong or if it's supposed to be like this. Probably not. Or if my foot is just dumb. But let me show you. This is always how it goes when I use it. Here is the zipper, right? This is the invisible zipper. If you'll see, it's uneven. See that black line down the length of the thing? Down here? That's a line of stitches where the zipper is. And over here, you'll see a gap. And that gap is supposed to be on both sides of the zipper, but it's only on one side. So when you go down one side of the zipper, it sews right up to the zipper. Like you're almost catching teeth in the thread. And when you sew the other side, it has this nice, like, teeny gap so that you sew right next to the zipper. Now, I don't know why that is. It's just not even on both sides. So I get this effect, which I don't necessarily like. The zipper has this nice, like, edge on one side of it, but it's right up to the zipper teeth on the other side. I feel like that's an issue that I need to figure out with my zipper foot. My regular zipper foot is awesome. It works great. It came with my machine, but the invisible zipper foot, I just feel like it sucks or something. I don't know. But it's fine. I mean, the important part is it's a zipper and it's there and it works. So it makes it a little hard. It like puts a cramp in my style when I'm actually sewing. It's like, And I wish it went more smoothly, but I don't know. Maybe I just need to buy a new invisible zipper foot. I don't really know. But I really love this skirt. It's got these really great vampires on it. My favorite thing about this skirt is that these two guys right here, this vampire and this guy walking an invisible dog, are both on my butt. I think it's awesome. And we've got the witch with the little kid. Oh, I love it. I love this skirt so much. It came out really great. It's not generally my style of skirt. I like a swingier, longer, kind of fuller skirt. But I really enjoy wearing this. I feel like it looks good, it fits good. I've worn it a couple times. I've ridden my bike in it, which is impressive because I normally don't like to ride my bike when I'm wearing skirts or dresses, but this is a good bike riding dress. Skirt. I think it's because it's shorter and it's stiffer. I love it. I love it. So this was a total success story. My next pattern that I will be doing in that book is the Megan dress. And I've got some black twill fabric for that I purchased. I'm just missing the zipper. So it calls for a 22-inch invisible zipper. And my fabric is black and I wanted a black zipper to go with it. And they did not have one of those at my local fabric shop. So I need to get one somehow. And then I can make that dress. I'm super excited about that one. Again, not typically my style, but I don't care. I'm still going to make it, and I bet it's going to be awesome. So that is it for sewing. I will be having a shop update tomorrow, which is Saturday, July 22nd, 2017 at, when do I do it? 10 o'clock? 10 o'clock Pacific time. 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. And I still have stuff in the shop from last update, so there is stuff in the shop right now, including Floating, which is the colorway that I was knitting my socks out of earlier. I am going to be adding a bunch of Moon Age Daydream. I dyed up a bunch of that this last week, and here it is. I'm going to be having it on my BFL sock, my Merino single, and my Merino Stellina Merino single. What do I call it? Single Stellina base. The sparkly one and the non-sparkly one. Both singles, and then the BFL sock. So this is Moon Age Daydream. I love this colorway. Check it out tomorrow at 10 a.m. if you're interested. And there's a bunch of other stuff in there too. So check that out. That's Moonstone Dyeworks on Etsy. Now we are going to move on to favorites. And I've got a couple things to talk about. One is something that I'm super excited about, but I don't know if I'm going to do yet. So I have a subscription to a comic book called Saga, which is an amazing comic book. A lot of knitters are into this comic book, so I'm sure many of you know it and have read it and probably love it. It's an amazingly good comic book. It's really, really good. And I have a subscription, so I get each new issue in the mail. And in this last issue, at the end of every comic book, of every issue, the author has a little section where he talks about whatever, and he answers questions. You can mail in letters, and he'll publish the letter and respond to them and stuff like that. And in this last issue, in that section, he announced that they're having a costume contest. So I kind of want to participate. I'm really into costumes. Like, Halloween costumes are a big deal to me. I love them. And I really want to try to make a costume to try to enter this contest. So pretty much you pick a character from Saga and dress up like that character and send a photo into them, and you can win. It's like $500 is the prize. That would be awesome. But I don't know. Okay, so my dream is that I pick a character, I don't know who yet, and actually sew something. So this might be of interest to anybody who is into cosplay, which is something I find endlessly interesting and so cool, but I've never participated in. I've never made anything. I've never dressed up like anything in that way, but I want to. So I might try my hand at it with this. This is the issue. If you're interested in this kind of thing, you can pick up this issue at your local comic book store if you have one, or probably online somewhere, I'm sure. But this is the issue that it's announced in. This is the latest issue of Saga, and it was really good. Where Saga is right now in its story is really good. There's so many good things about it, and it's just really good. Like, I love it so much. Anyway, this is the latest issue, and this is the one that announces the costume contest. So if you're interested, buy it and check it out. I'm really interested. There are a lot of good and interesting looking characters in this comic book. Some of past issues, some of current issues, and you can choose any character, alive or dead, from past issues or current issues. So I really want to do some research, pick a character, and try to make a really awesome costume for myself. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, though. I'm, like, not that good at sewing. I'm not that good at putting together costumes. Like I said, I'm really into putting together costumes for Halloween, but they're never that, like, you know, interesting or creative or accurate. They're always kind of weird and janky and fun. So I really want to make something good and take, like, a really good picture and mail it to them and try to get somewhere in placing. I don't know. I mean, it's a lofty goal. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, but I'm gonna put a lot of thought into it, and I'm gonna try. If you guys have any thoughts on this or interest in it, let me know. Let me know in the comments below or in the Ravelry thread for this episode in the Ravelry group. Let's talk about it. Are you interested in doing it? What are you gonna do? What do you think of this latest issue? I don't know. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about the idea of it. I don't know if it's something I can actually pull off, but I want to try. I really, really, really do. And you have a long time to do it too. I think he says you pretty much have till the end of the year to get submissions in. So there's plenty of time to come up with an idea and try to figure something out. I'm also not that experienced at sewing what would you call it, freehand, like not from a pattern. So I don't know, maybe I can Frankenpiece some patterns into something. And then, like, what do I do about like these are characters that aren't just necessarily human. They're all kinds of species from throughout space. So I mean, like, hair color and, like, skin color and, like, I don't know how to do all that stuff. Maybe I'll buy a wig. I don't know. There's a lot of horned characters and winged characters, so, like, I don't know how to make horns and wings. I can figure it out, though. I'm sure I can Google it. I don't know. We'll see. I'm super interested in it. I really want to win. I really like winning contests. It's like a passion of mine. I love winning things, and that would be just so effing cool if I won. You get, like, $500 and, like, a special edition, like, bound copy of, like, a collection. I don't know. Maybe, like, an art print. I don't remember. But you get cool stuff, and I really want to win. I'm totally not going to win, but I really want to win. In my fantasy, I win. So that's that. Let me know what you think. We'll see if anything comes of that. My other favorite this week are a couple of patterns that I really, really, really want to make. So I picked up that linen shirt, that linen top that I showed you earlier, and that's kind of the top that I'm working on right now, my garment for the moment. I always like having a garment on the needles. I love knitting garments. And there are two sweaters that came out. And one of them came out pretty recently, and one of them I think I only just discovered. And I'm, like, obsessed with both of them right now, and I really want to make them. So I kind of want to make one of them my next garment cast on after I'm done with this tee. But I think both would require me buying new yarn, and I already have sweater quantities of yarn in my stash that I should use for my next sweater project, but I really want to make these sweaters. Which also brings me to the fact that I've never really talked about my stash all that much before. And mostly that's because my stash kind of sucks. The way I am now is I generally purchase yarn and then use it right away. I really enjoy being like that, but I was not always like that. When I first became a knitter, I got super excited with all this yarn that was out there that I bought a lot of it. So I have a bunch of yarn in my stash that I don't necessarily think, that I'm not necessarily excited about using. And so it's just sat there for years. Including, I have a few sweaters quantities of yarn, some of which I do really like, but I didn't buy them with patterns in mind, and that's not how I work anymore. So I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I'm not that good at having yarn and then scouring Ravelry for a project and making it work. I'm better at picking a project and then buying yarn for the project. So I've got some sweater quantities that I cannot figure out what to do with, and I can't pick a pattern that I'm necessarily excited about, even if I'm excited about the yarn. So, but I did find these two patterns that I'm excited about, so now I really want to buy yarn to make them. So the first one is Sunset Highway, which is a new pattern by Caitlin Hunter. And Caitlin Hunter is somebody who is coming out with some really exciting garment patterns right now. People are really excited about her and what she's doing right now. She is got some really nice designs that are like, I feel like all pretty recently released, and they're really nice. And one of them, the Sunset Highway pullover, is something that I just am so in love with. I want to make it so bad. It's a colorwork pullover and it's beautiful, and it calls for fingering weight yarn. The main color, it calls for 2 skeins a fingering weight yarn and some contrasting colors for the yoke. So I super love that. And so I would definitely need to buy or dye some yarns to make that. So I don't know. The other one is the Ola Yoke by Ella Gordon. And this is another colorwork pattern. This one calls for Jamieson. They're like 2-ply fingering weight. That's what the sample is knit in. That's what the pattern calls for. And if I knit this one, that's what I would want to use. So I would definitely have to buy that. And I've never purchased a sweater's quantity of any Jamieson yarn before. And that in itself sounds like an experience that I want to have. I feel like it's in itself an experience that I think I should have. Is purchasing a sweater's quantity of Jamieson yarn specifically for color work. And that's just really exciting to me. So I could do both of those things. I don't know. The first one, the Sunset Highway, if I purchased yarn for that, it would be like hand-dyed yarn. It would be like an indie dyed yarn sweater. And the second one, the Ola Yoke, would be a Jamieson yarn sweater. And they're both fingering weight sweaters, which I really have an interest in doing right now because it's summer and fingering weight sweaters are so pleasant to wear. So I'm really into those 2 sweater patterns right now, but I really don't want to buy yarn because I have so much yarn. See, I've got this I'm like a hardcore minimalist. You can't tell with all the shit around me. I really am. I'm like, I love having only what I'm going to use. And so having this stash of really old yarn that I kind of don't want to use kind of bothers me. So I really want to get it used. But I also really want to work with yarn that I'm excited about working with. So I don't know. I'm being pulled in opposite directions. We'll see. But check out those 2 sweater patterns if, I don't know, I think they're awesome. And if you haven't looked into them yet, maybe give it a shot. I think they're super cool and I'm really excited about them right now. So we'll see. I'll do some more fantasy window shopping on the internet for yarn and see if it actually leads anywhere. I don't know. All right, guys and gals, that's it for this week of Squirrel Pie Productions. Did I talk about everything I wanted to? Yeah, I did. I totally did. That was fun. I missed recording, and now I get to edit. I like to edit my episodes right after I record them, just to get it all done, and I really enjoy editing. It's super fun, so I'm excited. I'm gonna make some coffee. It's like afternoon, but I like to drink coffee while I edit. So I'm gonna make some coffee and sit right back there at my desk, and pretend like I'm like really, you know, getting stuff done and like working, like it's my job, and like, God, I'm a dork. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna go, and I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not yet. Thank you for everybody for being subscribers and for watching. I love it. You make me so happy. I love making this podcast, and I love that you guys are here with me. So thank you, and I hope you had a good time. I'll see you next week. I hope you have a lovely, wonderful weekend. I hope your summer is going great. I hope you're having so much fun every single day, even if you're like doing stupid stuff like working and like whatever, chores and cleaning the house. I hope you're having fun. I hope you have a great weekend. I will talk to you all next week. Stay awesome and have fun. Bye, guys.